Originally, the glass and steel towers of Canary Wharf were conceived of as a rival to the City of London. Now they work together to keep London as a whole in a financial league of its own. I'm heading to the offices of BGC Partners, international money brokers. They are like a sorting office for exchanging money, big money. These guys find buyers and sellers for international currencies, negotiate the deal, typically between the global banks, and take a healthy commission for themselves.
This is a very lively, dynamic, buzzing place. Is it always like this?
This is quiet. When it's noisy, when we've got a real crisis on, like we had, say, 3 years ago at the time of the credit crisis, the banking group, you couldn't hear yourself think. People walked out of here with great pools of perspiration on their shirts, dripping from the end of their chin or nose. Absolute pandemonium. But these people are built up on testosterone. They love it. And the busier it is, the more volatile it is, and the more fearful it is, the better they perform. So they know the rules, they live by the sword, and they die by it. So if they make money, please stay. Please make lots of money for the company. Please make lots of money for yourself. You fail, the door's over there.
It's high-pressure work. You can literally smell the sweat and testosterone in this room. I wouldn't mind a piece of the action, so I'm going to try it out in an artificial scenario.
Emma, how's oil doing?
The training I'm going through is designed to test wannabe brokers and traders. The system can handle over 1,000 simultaneous voice calls and information feeds.
Emma, I've got New York on the line.
I might have to go to another client if this is the speed of the purchase.
No. We're in with the blue chip, but oil is also France, the French stuff. Look at it, it's riot. Oh, it's going down now. It's going down now, Simon. Yeah, Emma, there are riots in France. They riot in France. Do we have any exposure to French shares?
We are on the case. We are on the case. We're selling everything we have.
Emma, have you got New York up? Is that Simon still there?
Hey, Simon, come on, man. I need that update now.
Now, that was a mock trading. I cannot begin to imagine what it is like in the real world with real money, no matter whose money. This job and so much stress is not for me.
So why do they do it? Simple. They are very, very well paid. City boys can also earn themselves an extremely lucrative performance-related annual incentive. This bonus often dwarfs the already generous salaries they are paid.
Well, the bonus system is the main system that rewards you in the city. Your basic salary, my basic salary in my last few years was £120,000 a year, which may seem quite a lot to viewers, but that's only a small portion of the pie, really. And my bonuses for the last couple of years, for example, were £500,000. In the city, you are judged by your bonus. If your bonus is twice as big as Dave's, that means you're twice as worthwhile a human being as Dave. It really is simple as that.
And alongside the fantastic money a career in the city offers, comes access to a world of privilege that most people can only dream of.
How much would a car like this cost? Give us a range of...
Well, I mean, you could start from around £130,000 for a Continental and go all the way through to £275,000 for a Mulsanne. And some cars you can go even higher depending on the level of specification.
Who pays such a massive price tag for a car like this?
It could be anyone from perhaps an investment banker, someone working in the city, working in hedge funds. I think you have to have quite a strong personality to drive a car like this, and I guess a sense of your own security. I'd like to think that it says that that person is successful, is generous with their money. But I guess the obvious answer is they want to look great and look the part, and that's what this car delivers.
But very few people will ever be able to afford to drive cars like those. Right next to the square mile is Tower Hamlets, one of the poorest areas in Britain. Experts in the city say it's their activities that drive forward the global economy. But from these streets, that argument looks very thin. And some people have had enough. The square mile has become a symbolic target for demonstrators angered by the excesses of modern-day capitalism. And it's not only protesters who have targeted the city as a symbol of wealth and power. The square mile has also been repeatedly hit by Irish Republican paramilitaries. In the 1980s and 1990s, the IRA targeted British financial centres with a number of highly destructive so-called spectacular bombings. But after the devastating 9/11 attacks on the financial centres of New York, the city began to make serious contingency plans for future catastrophes. Whatever happens, banks want to keep on making money uninterrupted.
Since 9/11, many trading floors have either got physical trading floors outside of the city in which they're currently situated, set up themselves. They purchase a share in a disaster recovery physical site, or what we can now offer them today is you could sit at home as a trader, log into your PC and access your trading position and from your home using your mobile phone and a laptop PC.
So these backup centres, how fast can they be up and running for use?
Disaster recovery centres nowadays can be up and running within seconds. We have one of our customers here in the city that invoked a disaster recovery trial period a couple of months back, where they brought 50 coaches to the front of the building, took them from the building to the airport and made them fly to Brussels. That took them several hours to physically get from one place to the other. The trading room took 5-10 seconds to set up. All we did was physically switch those lines that were in the trading floor in the city across to the other place that was in Brussels.
But the city's most recent catastrophe wasn't caused by fires, riots, terrorism, or natural disasters. The global financial crisis happened because of the nature of international financial system itself and of those who work within it. Because they reward only 12 months' performance, bonuses encourage city boys to take bigger risks, which, if they work out, will generate bigger short-term profits and result in bigger bonuses for those prepared to gamble.
So it's the equivalent of going into a casino, being told to bet with someone else's money, being told that if you make a win with that bet, you get to keep a portion in the form of a bonus. And by the way, the casino might fall down at any minute, because all our senior colleagues told us constantly that the party was going to come to an end ever since I joined. Then you've had deregulation, so there's far fewer rules, there's far less scrutiny about what people do, so they can invent complex financial products which basically are designed, or it's known that they will explode at a later date, but it doesn't matter because people accrue big bonuses in the meantime. You've got these financial weapons of mass destruction which can have huge implications for the global economy if they go wrong, as they did a few years ago.
But many of those still inside the city reject such allegations. While they admit mistakes were made, they say the only hope is to allow the banks themselves to lead efforts for a recovery.
Do you remember the day Lehman Brothers crashed? Do you remember when credit crunch started?
You couldn't forget it. It was like the bottom of the world falling out. The markets were moribund. There was no deposit business going on. No bank could pick up a penny piece. Without the world's central banks, the Fed, the Bank of England, the ECB, and the Bank of Japan, trust me, we'd be all crawling around the fields, pulling out the odd beetroot to eat, because that was the end of the world. Central banks have never really had the credit they deserve.
How about a cap on bonuses? Because, you know, people say the job these people do here is nothing more than legalized gambling, and they're gambling with my money.
In the nicest possible way, I find that remark offensive. Capping is a no-go area. What we want is regulatory controls so that outrageous decisions aren't made, but you're not breaking up the infrastructure of the bank. Never want to hear the word cap, even though it's got one syllable, ever again in my life.
So will the city change its ways? Or will arrogance, greed and short-term profit-making continue to dominate the markets? Maybe the global financial crisis has taught the square mile a lesson it will never forget. Or perhaps making money and a feeling of superiority is too deeply ingrained in the city's DNA. It's been like this for centuries, and it's never going to change.
If you enjoy lively debate with some of the quickest minds...
That's not true. This goes right to the heart of a corruption in democracy.
With an international angle.
It's not brave, it is suicidal for a politician to take such drastic steps.
These are very interesting ideological times. I suspect you don't entirely agree with me.
Join me, Gavin Esler, for Dateline London.